Why would a mother beat her 14-year-old son to death? Let's find out in today's episode. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Husband in Life. I'm Standish.
And I'm Kelechi.
And together,
we are
the Chatfikers.
Welcome back, guys. Happy Tuesday. We're actually going to be talking about a very serious topic today. It has been all over the news, and it's a subject that is quite dear to our hearts, talking about how parenting and discipline has changed over the years and how it has really evolved, I believe. But then you hear stories like this where you think, oh, we've gone back to the dark ages where it's just gone beyond parenting. It's gone beyond disciplining your children. It's become quite drastic, and like we said at the beginning of the actual episode, it's become life threatening. So if you don't know about the story, let's get you up to speed. So we were able to see the story about a 29-year-old woman who had been upset with her son, her 14-year-old son. She had seen that he hadn't, completed his chores. And as parents, we do that. We come home and the chores haven't been done, the dishes haven't been washed, the chicken wasn't taken out of the freezer. Remember them days when you used to
to get a chicken, make sure the chicken,
you take out the chicken for dinner tonight.
Otherwise, we're not eating.
And you've been home all day and you didn't take the chicken out.
Because you were playing outside.
And you forgot until you heard the door go and you're like, hey.
There's no microwaves back then, so you can't be putting in the microwave to defrost. There was no microwave,
But let them know the story, babe.
So, basically, what happened is, a 29-year-old Seattle woman is in custody after the police say she killed her 14-year-old son after beating him with an extension cord because he failed to do his chores.
Wow.
The woman is now in custody, and she's obviously called a dispatcher. She called 911 and said, yeah, I was spanking with my son, but I think I've gone too far.
Too far.
They say that the boy had over 1,000 injuries. And apparently, yes, they say they done like a biopsy. It means he would have been beaten for at least an hour.
Yo.
1 hour.
A whole hour. Of lashes. Oh my God.
Yep.
Oh my God.
And it doesn't stop there. Her sister accused her of threatening her in 2021. She's also been convicted of a third-degree assault.
So she's done this before. She's got a history of assaulting people. Wow. Okay.
So, yeah. Apparently, she's always yelling and screaming at her kids. And they only eat 2 times a day. I don't know how we know this information, but information is there.
Maybe the neighbors. Wow. Okay.
So,
do you love travel and do you love money? Now, we have been able to combine the 2 things that we love the most, which is travel and money. And here we are living the lifestyle that we've always dreamed about. We are no longer worrying about our annual leave because we are not 9-to-5ers and we're not living paycheck to paycheck. You can monetize travel to help you live the lifestyle that you want, travel the world, and help other people understand how they can travel the world too. We help our clients to book the most amazing holidays, just like this one that we're on at the moment. And we want to help other people also live this lifestyle. So if you're interested, please do send us a message and we will give you all the information that you want. Making travel pay, that's what we do.
So, there's a few things to unpack there, babe.
Let's break that down. So it would have been a case of her seeing that he hadn't done his chores. And instead of taking the time to find out why, to speak with him, to just remind him to do the chores, she saw red and picked up.
Boy ain't listen to me.
Yeah, picked up, her extension cord. But to beat him for an hour is absolutely crazy work. It's diabolical. To beat somebody for a whole hour, that you have lost your mind. You're really not okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I think there's a lot more we have to unpack before we even get to the beating for an whole hour.
Oh my gosh.
Because you got to think, what compels a mother to beat up her child for an hour? Yeah, there must be something underneath this. Is this the first time he hasn't done these chores? That's one. Secondly, what didn't he actually do? Did he just not take out the dishwasher? Did he forget? Did you tell him before you leave this house, make sure this is done? When you come back from school, make sure this is done, and he didn't do it? Is there a deep rooted issue here, which is coming back from how you were brought up? Because the ramifications you used to have when you didn't take that meat out of the fruit,
Yo.
you know?
Yeah.
It's that thin line between discipline and abuse.
Yeah. Well,
And-
in this case, it's way past that line. There's no thin line.
There's no.
The line is being removed.
Exactly. And it's how do you know when the line is? That's why you have these services now in place because of parenting like this, where
Yes.
they take out their frustrations, their trauma, and they pass it forward.
They take it too far. They take it far, like way, way too far. And also, to beat him for an hour, you weren't upset about those chores.
No. It was all your
Over
pain. It was all
1,000
the
lashes. You weren't upset about those chores. It was something beyond that.
things I do for
Yeah.
you. All the things I.
Maybe it could be resentment for having him. She would have had him at a young age if she's only 29.
She's 29. He's 14. Yes, so teenage.
She would have
Yeah,
been a teenage parent, and that
Yeah,
causes
there's-
resentment.
that's your whole childhood
Yes,
done.
It causes resentment because a lot of the time we're encouraged, especially in America. Abortion isn't a thing really in America. In certain states, it's illegal in certain states.
Seattle, so you never know what the laws are
you
over
don't know
there.
what the laws are there. So she would have had to have her child, and maybe she didn't want to have her child, and so there would have been some sort of resentment there, and therefore you take that out on the child, and any little thing that he does just upsets you.
Just breathe it. Why you breathe?
Why are you here? So the fact that he didn't do the chores that he was supposed to do just probably sent her over the edge. I don't think it's the first time that it's happened. I think this is definitely the time that she took it too far. She was aware that she took it too far when she said it on the call.
Help.
And I believe that she waited 5 minutes before she called them. So that means that she was not in any hurry to help that boy.
It's like, wake up. What are you pretending?
5
Why you?
minutes is a long time to wait when someone is unresponsive.
And that could have been the difference between
Yes.
life or death.
Yes, yeah.
That 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So how should we discipline our kids? Obviously, this is not the way to do it.
No.
What should we do? What is the steps that parents should do because these kids now, majority of them, they don't have the same respect that we did for our parents. We were supposed to be seen and not heard. They come to you now, they disturb your peace. Like, mama, dad, but we're talking. Grown people are having. When your mom and dad were talking about you used to wait your turn and then you speak.
But I think we would have interrupted them first before we learned how to do that. It's not something you learn from the womb.
Yes.
So we would have been interrupting them when they were talking.
They would have been like, huh?
And they wouldn't have said to us, wait for her to speak. You would have got a slap around the face. So you would have learned real quick not to say nothing. I don't think it was a respect thing. Not for me anyway, maybe for you. But it wasn't a respect thing for me. It was more of a fear that I didn't want to be... Didn't want to catch a lash, catch a slipper,
catch a hot one.
catch a belt, catch a switch.
Yes.
So it was more of a fear thing, not a respect thing. And I think a lot of our generation definitely feel the same way. It wasn't a case of, we were, well, maybe we were a little bit like elders, it was put into us, you have to respect your elders and you have to know how to speak to adults and things like that. But at the same time, it was very much a case of if you'd get the look, or you catch a slipper, or worse.
And you had to move appropriately quickly.
Yeah. So we learned how to behave through those aspects.
So in this new generation,
because of the fact that we move differently now, because we understand that way was not actually very healthy. If anything, we've been caused some trauma that we're holding on to. So we, with our with the other generation now, it's a case of listening to them, speaking to them, and yes, gentle parenting, right?
Do you think there's a level of overcorrection? I think that happens.
Yeah, people gone too far.
You
Some
know-
people have been like, I ain't gonna discipline them at all. I watch it. I'm like, yo, you're not actually gonna talk to your child about this reckless behavior that they're doing in public right now. Like you're just like immune to it. You don't even see it. You don't even say nothing. You know that they've gone too far with it. Like there needs to be a balance. You still need to tell your child when wrong is wrong and right is right.
I'll give you an example I saw the other day. I think it was on a train. I think the mum was with us with her child or something like that. And the child just kept going, "You're dumb, mum, innit? You're dumb. We know you're dumb." And she was like, "Yeah, I know."
Wow.
You know, the first one I heard, I was like,
No, that's what I'm saying. It's too far. Your child could never disrespect you like that, especially in public. What?
mockery. Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is what I'm saying. I think we need to take the time to talk to our children and do let them know when wrong is wrong and right is right. Okay? I think when we were bringing up the kids when they were younger, definitely when they were younger, it was a case of we didn't know about sitting down talking to the kids. We didn't know about listening to their woes and their problems. It was just like, you're going to listen to me. This is what I'm saying. And that's it.
Get it done.
You know?
If you don't,
You're going to catch a slipper. And that is because that's how we were brought up. And I think now that we've studied and we've learned more and we understand more, we've taken the time to actually educate ourselves about parenting and actually see it as it's a case of, yes, you are the parent, but at the same time, you want to share and show your children the skills that they require in order to be decent human beings, right? So if you want them to be decent human beings, you also have to be a decent human being yourself, okay? So therefore, you have to take the time to unlearn those terrible behaviors that you've been learning from parenting, from your own parenting, down to grandparenting, down to, the
things you see.
the whole thing of, community. Just sometimes I don't get me wrong, we love our families. We think they're, amazing. We really genuinely are grateful for them bringing us into this world. At the same time, some of the attributes, some of the behaviors are just backwards. The way they believe in things, certain things
that don't serve.
that just don't make no sense anymore. We're not in the 1920s anymore. We are in 2025. We need to evolve.
Yeah.
We need to change our ways. It's like, especially with African culture, I feel like there's a lot of fear, and they put fear into you so that you don't explore things, so that you don't have adventure, so that you don't question. Like you can't question what they're saying and saying, is that logical to you? You could never, you could never say, is that logical? Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
You just have to go with it. Don't question me. That's it.
Yeah.
Whereas with our kids, we tell them, we're telling you this. However, I want you to know that we can have a debate. You can tell me your side. I will listen. I will tell you my side. You will listen. And it's a case of two people having a conversation, and then we come to a happy medium.
Yeah.
And I believe that's how we are able to stop that whole, I tell you how it goes and that's it. Or you're going to catch a hot one.
That's it.
Situation.
Because that way it stops the kids in confiding in you. They won't come to you now because you're just going to react and go off the handle.
You don't have to regulate your own emotions.
No. So now, exactly. So as an adult, what are you doing? That's why
we're not taught that. We're not taught regulating our emotions. We are taught to just go, fly off the handle, do whatever. I believe this lady has never had any kind of help. Like we see, she's got history in violence.
She should have been.
She's learned that from somewhere. That didn't just happen. Maybe it happened to her as a child. Maybe that's the reason why she was a teenage mother. There's so many aspects of it. So she's just carrying it on. Maybe it's a generational thing. Maybe her mum was a teenage mum and the grandma was a teenage mum, and it just keeps going.
Repeats.
And now look, she's without child. I hoped that she didn't intentionally want to kill him, that it was just rage and she saw red and she lost her mind. And again, she didn't regulate her emotions because we're not taught that. And I think that's a big part of parenting, is learning how to not be triggered. Which is very difficult. It's very difficult when you're trying to have a conversation with your person and they're coming in and they want this and they want that. And it's frustrating because you're like, "Ugh, I just need a minute. Just need a second." And then you fly off the handle and then you feel bad and you have to apologize and you have to talk about it.
Apologize.
Well,
That part.
yeah. We didn't get no apologies.
Apology for what? Huh? I told you and you didn't do it. That's it. That's not the way to rule.
So I think that these laws that they've put in place with disciplining your child are absolutely correct because of this, because of situations like this. And there's so many other situations like this where children are abused and secretly abused. We don't even know what's happening. They're hiding their wounds. They're hiding their trauma. They're hiding their pain. Their mums and dads will tell them, don't tell anyone.
That's it.
And they go for years
With that.
without any help. And then now you see someone is dead. Or they go for help and the help is not quite what they want or what they need, because you have to, I don't know why, but they have to wait until something really bad happens before they push and move into place. And sometimes it's death.
They never do prevention.
It's never prevention.
It's like, this is about to go bad. Let's stop this.
Yeah.
They needed to go bad first, then go be shocked and go, we knew she was doing this before, but we didn't really have a case, so it wasn't
We were
sufficient
called
enough.
5 times to the
Yes.
property.
So what do you think was going to happen the 6th?
I don't get it. Especially her having a history. You know she's got a history. I'm sure the little boy would have told somebody that something was going on. It's not the first time he's been hit with an extension cord.
No.
So I think in understanding this story, it's quite sad, really. I hope that she gets the help that she needs where she is. You know, they're all about correction, aren't they? So hopefully she will get the help. And I don't know if she has other children.
We don't even know.
So if there's other children, let's hope that they go somewhere where they're safe. And the main thing to understand from this is to treasure your children and to see them as like real people. They're not rag dolls. You can't just throw them around and just, forget about their feelings and treat them anyhow. As a mum of 2, I understand now that those things that that parenting style that I was able to experience is not the correct parenting style for my children. Okay, so I slowly worked backwards to remove that parenting style from my brain, and it takes time. And sometimes you get it wrong, and you just have to re-up and just go. You know what? I'm sorry I flew off the handle. I'm sorry I shouted. And you have to sit down and talk with them and talk to them as human beings and let them understand, sometimes you make mistakes, but we're working on it. And being aware of the mistake and being able to be held accountable when you make that mistake. And change your behavior.
Yeah.
It just takes time to do it, but it's possible. And I think in reading this story, it just made me think about how childhood was and the things that we experienced.
Yeah, because there's also another aspect where, like you said, there was a lot of fear in our parents. That fear came from, in their mind, that fear they put onto us was keeping us from straying, getting into bad groups, into drugs, into bad things. Because they were only using those resources that were available to them. They were dealing with the trauma which they hadn't healed from. And they thought, well, if I didn't stray, I didn't go into trouble, I didn't do all of this, and it worked for me, then it should definitely work for you. Not understanding that every generation, the way the world works, things change all the time. That's why when technology, for example, phones, there were no phones in your house initially. You have to go to the corner shop, pay some money in, and then the phone used to go like this. You would wait, and then you crunk. And now you just say, hey, Siri, call da-da-da-da-da, and it's brr, and it's just
Instant.
there. So
Everything is so accessible now.
exactly. So we also have to be kind to the parents because they just didn't know better.
Yes, yeah.
The
It's what they knew.
Exactly. The great thing with foresight and with us now is we have so much information which is readily available on our fingertips. go YouTube, you read a book, you look at this. There's so many communities available.
Seminars.
You know what I mean? Like Facebook groups and all of these things where you can learn, you can ask questions. I'm struggling with my son. I'm struggling with my daughter. What have you found? And then some people will say, oh, I've tried this. This didn't work first time. I tried this. Ever tried that? This might be able to help you because there's a few different avenues you can pursue.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So there isn't one way, but we know there's that way of what she was doing is almost is catastrophic as we have found out.
Yeah.
You need to be able to, like you said, regulate your emotions, be able to understand and reason with your child, trying to explain to your child. And unfortunately, you're going to have to say it more than 15 times.
Every day. Every day.
And it might go in, but you have to say it. And the key thing is, like we always say, baby, don't even get upset anymore. You go, my friend, the chores ain't done. What's going on? Device, please. That's it. Because if you get, that's too much control. We don't need that.
It's too much high blood pressure for me. I can't do that.
No, listen, I want to stay young. Leave me
That's
be.
why the skin stays fresh.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Wrinkle free.
Wrinkle free, because you ain't got time to be shouting, hollering in your house.
What? We don't raise no voice unless it's fun times.
Yeah,
you know,
so let's be screaming in fun times.
You know, unless that Karuski coming in like, ching, ching.
Ching, ching, get paid
No,
over here.
That's it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, but I think, so that's what we think. You've had our 2 cents. What do you guys think about this whole situation? Is this parenting gone wrong? Is this trauma which has been put across in the wrong way?
Yeah.
In a world where we have overcorrection of parenting, when it's super gentle parenting to the point where parents won't even shout at their kids or tell them they're doing something wrong. I saw another clip saying there's another domestic abuse we don't hear that about kids beating up their parents. So there's all these things are happening in the world because there was no discipline and structure put in place to say, listen, there's a hierarchy here. We're held together, but I am your parent. I know things. I've been your age. You have never been mine. So there's things I know and the things that you don't know. So let me communicate that. So can we try and communicate that better to the children so they understand that? So they understand you wasn't just always this age. Because they look at you like, Mom, it was never like, you were never my age. What are you talking about? Do you know what I mean? So what do you lot think about this? This is a tragic story that should never even happen.
Shouldn't have got this far.
It should have never got this far.
At all. Your own child. That's crazy work. So yeah, that's our 2 cents, guys. Let us know what your 2 cents are. How do you feel about your parenting style or how you were parented as a child? Let us know in the comments and we will catch you again on the flip side. Take care. Bye.
Peace.
Love you for life.